Good evening. Welcome, everybody. I'm Srikanth. I represent AyurUniverse. AyurUniverse is India's largest wellness portal offering preventive wellness, ailment management, and online signature programs in yoga, Ayurveda, and naturopathy for global customers since 2016. We have more than 300 wellness centers hosted in our portal. They are present in India, Sri Lanka, and Nepal. We also hope to have a global presence in the next few years. So far, in the last 4 years, we have had customers coming to India and Sri Lanka from 65 different countries through our portal. We are approved by the Department of Tourism in Karnataka and also India. We are one of the members of the Global Wellness Institute, California. Today, we are hosting a webinar in collaboration with Atmantan Wellness Center. Atmantan Wellness Center is based in Pune, in a place called Mulshi. It is spread across 42 acres of property facing a Mulshi lake amidst the Sahyadri hills. Atmantan means, it's a combination of three words, Atma, Man and Tan, which means soul, mind and the body. And Atmantan has a very integrated approach towards wellness. Today we have three doctors amongst us. Three doctors amongst us who are going to take us through a very important topic. How do we build immunity against infectious diseases? So we have Dr. Manoj Kutteri, Wellness Director. He's a naturopath doctor and a third generation healer. He's got more than 20 years of experience in the wellness field. He holds a master's degree in psychology and MBA in marketing. And he had
we lost your screen. We lost your screen. If you want to share the screen.
Right, hold on. Just hold on. Right. Can you see me? Can you see me?
No, I can see you. We lost the screen. If you were sharing the screen.
Okay, hold on. Let me just. The screen?
Yeah, it's coming.
All right. Yeah. So he has, Dr. Manoj has pioneered in introducing the traditional authentic Ayurveda and naturopathic medicine in West Indies. He also is a famous columnist for leading media of Times of India, India Today, Vogue, to name a few. Along with Dr. Manoj, we have Dr. Ravinder Shekhawat. He's an Ayurveda consultant. He's been working for more than 8 years. He has worked in renowned wellness centers across the country, including allopathic hospitals. He holds a master's degree in health care and management. His fields of interest include Panchakarma, Iyengar yoga, stress management, and reversal of lifestyle disorders. We have another doctor, Dr. Vishnu Satish. He holds a degree in naturopathic medicine, has immense experience in the field of alternative medicine, holds a diploma in low-dose cytokines, has deep knowledge in advanced functional medicine protocols, gut health, nutrigenomics, diet, and herbal medicines. Has experience in diagnosing and treating lifestyle illnesses, hormone issues, skin problems, autoimmune conditions, and allergy immunology. Okay, so before let me just get the presentation out of my way, and then let's get started. All right. Okay, doctor, we have a little bit of a technical glitch. All right. So let me ask this question to you, Dr. Manoj. Are you able to see me on the screen?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, in the current scenario, we have been hearing a lot about building immunity. According to you, who are most susceptible to the infections and what is the reason?
Okay. Namaste, everyone, and thank you, Srikanth, for bringing us on board. This particular question, we have been hearing a lot about immunity during these times, especially since the COVID-19 pandemic, which has always been existing, but no, it has got a lot of popularity and public awareness and attention during this crisis period. The reason being, we as practitioners of alternative medical system, we always believe that there are three different factors for causing any form of infection, whether it is bacterial infection, viral infection, or anything. And we call this as, we have something called as a germ theory, which is basically, we believe that germs are the causes for diseases. Okay, so there are two other factors which we have conveniently forgotten in the olden days, which are basically the host immunity or the target cell, which is a human being, and also the surroundings, like the environment that we create, which is one of the reasons, like we know that in the ancient times, we have seen a lot of epidemics. Cholera has been an epidemic, and we know that these were actually very prevalent in society, which had very least surrounding was actually really a major reason, which was also impacting on the human immunity. Okay, so now with this current situation, also, if you really look at the current scenario, you know that people have actually completely forgotten. They have become much more resilient than before. There are a lot more, they have gained that kind of boldness, not to go to the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
There was a time, we can know that, even if a simple fever comes, we just run to the hospital within 1 hour, 2 hours. And human beings, our mind was actually more tuned to that kind of quick relief.
Right.
Now people because there are a lot of issues happening in the hospital, and that is not a place where we can actually trust anymore, with this current situation, until it actually just come to a halt. Now people have actually started gaining that kind of patience to wait and see, whether we can actually fight against it, or we have to just immediately run to the hospital, which is one of the reasons you can actually see that there has been a steep decline in the hospital cases, mainly the OPDs, people just running for common cold, flu, these kind of symptoms, unless and until it has been staying for more than a couple of days. So this is very, very important for us to talk about immunity. And I think the situation that, just imagine a scenario, if there was a medicine for COVID-19, if for this particular issue, people would have not even talked about it. They would have just brushed away, and nobody would have identified this vulnerable group, so-called obesity, diabetes, cardiovascular problem. Nobody would have talked, these are the people who are vulnerable, or even senior citizens.
Right.
Because there is a solution. So you have nothing to discuss about that. If you have a problem, you have a solution. Okay. So I think it is a, although we should not say that, it was actually affecting positively to the humankind, but at least I think it has actually has been a double-edged sword, for the COVID-19. And on one side, it was actually just very destructive. On the other side, it has actually helped the public to think differently, out of the box. And also understand that, there are much more one could do, in the to stay protective. And also there has been a lot of focus that came in the picture about the lifestyle illnesses. People actually has understood that is the foundation. Where you need to be correcting is actually you need to be correcting on your lifestyle, which is a foundational principle. And this is actually what we talk about, even in Ayurveda, in naturopathy, everywhere we talk about this, because that a seed cannot grow if you just put it on a piece of rock. It only grows where there is water, where there is fertilizer, where there is a moisture, so it only grows in such a favorable climate, or favorable medium. So now it is more important for us to really own our health and take necessary steps in order to improve or keep our immunity at an optimum level, right? So And we also started believing that, like our body has a healing power which is deep inside. Many a
Yes.
times with improper lifestyle, that is one aspect of it, and also use of antibiotic, that has really
Mm-hmm.
killed the human society, our
Right.
society, including the children. These days you see a lot of children coming up with allergic problems, food intolerance, things like that. But we have completely, because here, like what is more important for us is the use of inhalers for asthma is very, very common in the early ages. And
Right.
I mean, besides that, there are a lot of other sequential problems as well. And these things are primarily because of excess use of antibiotics. Okay,
Okay.
India being a developing country, I think we are not really sensitized the use of antibiotic compared
Mm-hmm.
to many other developed nations. Like
Okay.
I spent some time like in the US, and there is nothing called as a cold medicine. The doctors
Mm-hmm.
will only ask you to do a nasal spray, saline spray in
Okay.
the nose, like, and they will not give you any antibiotic. There is no non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs being prescribed if a child comes
Okay.
across running nose and things like that. But we have completely,
Mm-hmm.
because here, like what is more important for us is the convenience. Like you
Right.
get a fever and you have to just right away kill it because you have to go to work tomorrow, or you have
Right.
to do something tomorrow,
Right.
and you are not really interested in taking charge of your health and doing those
Mm-hmm.
grandmother's remedies. But
Right.
now this is actually one of the biggest positive change that happened in the society, that people have understood how to manage themselves with little things. You must have seen, like, on all the videos that are coming up now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like people have actually just taken, like, a lot of people are into a lot of social media promoting microgreens, and they are actually just identifying the importance of that. They're
Right.
identifying the importance of all these Ayurvedic remedies or herbal
Mm-hmm.
remedies,
Right.
like, and there's a lot of popularity that happened, like, for yoga. Okay,
Mm.
so all these things, I think it is actually one way it has actually done, while it has actually done a lot of damage, I think it
Right.
has actually done something, a strong foundation for us to build a bright future. Okay,
Okay.
like, because we need to also understand that a lot of built-in illnesses. Mosquitoes are causing disease because it is able to penetrate deeper into your skin. So
Yes.
until and unless there is an entry of any chemicals to enter your body, you will not be diseased. Like, and you have these
Yes.
kind of protective barriers in your system. You have I was actually just listening to a news that came in the Pune Mirror yesterday about the modern medical doctors have actually started advising doing
Mm-hmm.
gel neti, which is a very
Mm-hmm.
simple yogic
Yes.
kriya,
Yes.
which
Yes.
has been there, like, last thousands of years. It has been
Yes.
happening, like, as part that this has a potential the resistance power or immunity of your mucous membrane, which is actually one of the brilliant barrier in your body.
Right.
You have
Right.
your skin, you have your mucosal membrane, you have the epithelial lining of your stomach, and you have a lot of acid protection in your body. These are
Right.
all basically a brilliant protective mechanism in your body.
Right.
Besides that, you also have a lot of other complement protein, like your complement system. So all
Right.
these things are the, but we were not giving enough chance for these system to wake up, or we were not really
Mm-hmm.
trusting our own body. Okay, so I think
Okay.
it was actually just a brilliant opportunity for us to rethink ourselves, think go internally and identify these kind of protective mechanism and work on it. Yeah.
Right. Okay. All right. So I liked one thing that you said. If anything to grow, it has to be a fertile ground. So nothing can grow on a rock. That's a very good metaphor.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So the what I want to know from any one of you can respond to this. What is respiratory immunity and what is gut immunity? And does it matter that we need to build both?
Okay, so I would be addressing this question now.
Okay.
Anyway, first of all, I thank AyurUniverse for giving such a wonderful platform to speak on this webinar on this topic related to immunity. Thank you for that, sir.
Thank you.
So, respiratory immunity or the respiratory system consists of our nose, sinus, lungs, trachea, and many other things.
Okay.
And this is one of the crucial system in human body because 24 into 7 we are exposed to the pathogens and toxins in the environment.
Mm-hmm.
So we need when we have a good first line defense to
Okay.
remove these pathogens and toxins before they get affect to the human body, then
Right.
we say that you have a very powerful respiratory system.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, example like I would tell sneezing is a mechanism of human body where we forcefully expelling the pathogen outside the body.
Right.
Another thing like running nose. So
Mm-hmm.
actually what is this running nose is a response of human body where the
Okay.
mucus just goes and stick to the bacteria or the
Okay.
virus, and it takes it outside to the human body. So our body
Okay.
should be well able to remove these bugs and toxins before they get affect to the lungs or the other parts of the body.
Okay.
Also we need a strong respiratory muscles in order to
Mm-hmm.
assist this function.
Okay.
Example, a person who suffer from low back pain or a person who suffer from neck pain, in a long
Mm-hmm.
term this automatically start adjusting their posture. Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
they have a tendency to droop. So when
Mm-hmm.
they droop, what happened, they put a pressure on the lungs where their
Okay.
lungs capacity is compromised, and in long term they are more prone to get infections.
Right.
So a combo functioning of this good respiratory muscles, the
Mm-hmm.
first line responses, everything
Right.
in combo, when you have nicely working, then we can say you have a perfect respiratory immunity.
Okay.
And we have plenty of factors which we have plenty of factors which
Mm-hmm.
helps or which controls this respiratory system, like
Mm-hmm.
nutrition. I would tell nutrition plays a very important role. Yoga pranayama practices plays a very important role. But
Okay.
the most important thing I would tell which governs the respiratory system or the respiratory health is our gut immunity or our
Mm-hmm.
gut health.
Okay.
I would tell that gut system or gut health is the mother of the respiratory system.
Okay.
Because and our gut system is something which starts from our mouth and ends in the anal tract. Plenty of organisms living in this
Okay.
particular system. There is a book published called as "We Are Just 10% Humans and 90% We Are Bacteria. 90% we are just microbes." So
Okay.
when we descend downward towards the tract, the
Mm-hmm.
diversity and the fact is that the 70 to 80% of the human body immunity lies in your gut.
Okay.
So we give them a good atmosphere to live. They gives us back a good respiratory. They gives us back a good immune function.
Mm-hmm.
There are more than around 10,000 species of more than 10,000 of species of bacteria lives in the gut. Around 99% of them are good bacteria, friendly
Okay.
bacteria. So when you have plenty of friendly bacterial group, and when they helps you for good digestive function and other functions of the human body, you have a good immunity or you have a good gut health. And
Mm-hmm.
another thing is your gut health is
Okay.
strongly related to your respiratory health. I will quote an example here. Like
Okay.
there was a study conducted, the comparison between the children who was born in C-section and the children who were
Mm-hmm.
born in normal delivery. So the
Okay.
children who are born with C-section have more likely to develop asthma and allergy disorders than the
Okay.
children who are born in normal deliveries.
Okay.
Because when a child delivers, when the child descends to the mother's tract, the
Mm-hmm.
baby's eyes, nose, and mouth is in contact with the bacterial flora in the mother's genital system.
Okay.
So the baby automatically ingests this bacteria. This group of bacteria goes to the intestine of baby and it splits, and that gives you the
Okay.
first immunity.
Okay.
Before the consumption of breast milk, that gives you the first immunity.
Okay.
So C-section is something like it's a bypass.
Mm-hmm.
You are never exposed to these particular bacterial groups, and
Right.
there are some species which helps the lungs functions to work well efficiently, and these C-section babies are never exposed to that, so they are
Okay.
more prone to get allergy and asthma disorder. So this is a
Right.
good example like how to tell prove the relation between gut and the lungs.
Mm-hmm.
And in this condition, it's very important to speak about respiratory condition because the coronavirus, which classically affect the lungs.
Right.
So we need to build a better immunity of the lungs. So when we see and majority of the people who are affected with the coronavirus, or the mortality rate was high for the people who as affected with the lung disorders.
Okay.
People who suffer from asthma or bronchitis are more prone to get the coronavirus infection.
Okay.
So when we see the root cause of this particular disorders, we have to ultimately go and treat the gut. So in
Okay.
Atmantan, we have a protocol for treating all the lung disorders by addressing the gut issues, basically.
Right. Right.
So I would tell there are two ways directly, like
Mhm.
as Dr. Manoj has mentioned, we can do the practice of Jalaniti, gargling technique and pranayama practices to directly strengthen the respiratory system,
Right.
and adopt a good dietary approach in
Mhm.
order to strengthen your gut and indirectly makes your whole body and your respiratory system immune to any sort of infections.
Okay. All right. Okay. And what you said, I was a little shocked and surprised. You said there are more than 10,000 bacteria in our gut. Good news is that most of them are helping us to digest food. I mean, that's a good news. All right. So I have a question related to Ayurveda, and I'm hoping Dr. Ravinder will respond to that. What does Ayurveda recommend as a lifestyle for people susceptible for infections to keep themselves safe?
Namaste, everyone. So, firstly, I want to thank AyurUniverse for such a good platform. Thank you, sir.
Yep.
So, now coming to the question, I want to first say that Ayurveda is a science of longevity, first of all.
Okay.
So, anybody who wants to have a long life, anybody who wants to have a graceful, want to age gracefully and want to have a very immune life, so he has to follow certain rituals like diet and lifestyle protocols which are mentioned in Ayurveda, right?
Mhm.
And why Ayurveda is so effective? Because Ayurveda not only focuses on the temporary solution, but gives you a permanent solution of each cause, right?
Okay.
By balancing your mental, physical, and spiritual level. So once your
Okay.
mental, physical, and spiritual level is balanced, everything is balanced,
Okay.
right? Now coming to the question of immunity. Now
Mhm.
first here we have to understand what is immunity according to Ayurveda,
Okay.
right? So immunity according to Ayurveda is also known as Vyadhi Kshamatva in Sanskrit.
Okay.
Now what is
Okay.
this Vyadhi Kshamatva? As the name suggests, Vyadhi is the disease, Kshamatva is the resistance to fight
Mhm.
against the disease.
Okay.
Now Vyadhi Kshamatva is also known as Bala. Bala is the strength to fight against the disease,
Okay.
right? So this Vyadhi Kshamatva is divided into three categories. First one
Okay.
is Sahaja immunity, which is the innate immunity which which we are born with.
Mhm.
Second one is the Kalaj immunity. Kal here is the time. So
Okay.
this Kalaj immunity is the immunity which changes over a period of time.
Mhm.
And this is divided into two categories. First one is the age and second one is the seasons. Now we
Okay.
know that age, as the age changes, the immunity also changes, right?
Right.
Now, as we know that children's have very low immunity and the middle-aged people have very good immunity and old-age
Mhm.
people have very low immunity. So as
Right.
the age progresses, as the age changes, the immunity also changes.
Right.
Seasons also have a very big impact on the immunity. Like just an example, like if any person is in the winter season, he
Mhm.
might feel very energetic. He might feel very active in the winter season. But
Right.
same person in the summer season, he might feel very lethargic, feel like doing anything. He might feel like going to the sleep right after the food. So there
Right.
is a difference in the seasons as well. Now the third immunity is the Yuktikrit immunity. Yuktikrit immunity is the acquired immunity. Now
Mhm.
acquired immunity is the immunity which we acquire over a period of time, right?
Okay.
So
Right.
this immunity which we acquire over a period of time is acquired by first thing 80% is your food. So first thing
Okay.
is your diet,
Mhm.
second thing is your lifestyle, third
Mhm.
thing is your aushad. Aushad is also known as some immunomodulator or some of the herbs which are used in Ayurveda, right?
Okay.
So as we know now 80% is your diet, right? So what we eat, what we take in from the external source matters a lot.
Okay.
Now we also know that we are surrounded by nature,
Mhm.
right? And all the bacteria, viruses, fungi, and whatever the pathogens are coming, they are also coming from the nature.
Okay.
Now we have to understand that food is also coming from the nature, from
Mm.
external. Now here we have to understand that food is coming from the external source, so it has to be natural. It has
Right.
to be naturally grown. It should not be artificial. It should not be preserved. It should not be processed. It should not
Okay.
be. We should not be indulging into so-called preservatives or so-called damaging drinks like
Right.
tea, excess of coffee, alcohol, smoke, and all those things.
Right.
So it should be naturally grown. Like here also in Atmantan, we grow, like we have an organic garden where we grow all the organic vegetables and all, right?
Right.
So
Right.
also like we know that the food is very important. Now also food is also dependent on your prakriti, your nature.
Mm. Right.
Now there are three kind of doshas as we all know. First one is
Mhm.
vata, pitta, and kapha.
Right.
Now these three doshas are there in the body, but at the time of conception, something will be predominant, right? And whichever dosha is predominant at the time of conception, that will remain the prakriti, that will remain same throughout the life. That will never change. And one has to follow their, whatever is predominant dosha, one has to follow the diet and lifestyle depending on it. Right? Now, if we are considering about the food, now these days, like, many people are, overeating, right? It is very important how we eat the food, where we eat the food, what we eat, what time we are eating, everything is important. Now, the problem is overeating, because overeating is the main cause of the obesity, diabetes, cholesterol, and all the issues which we are facing these days in India and throughout the world. So we have to know how much we have mentioned that whatever food comes. Yes. So this is also called as one Anjali, right, in Ayurveda. So whatever food comes in this particular portion should be in the plate. Now, this doesn't mean that rice this much, dal this much, vegetables this much, and other this much, right? So total amount of food should be in the plate, this much amount. Now, to make it more simple, you can say that half of your digestion system should be filled with food. 1/4 of your digestion system should be filled with water. Right? And 1/4 remaining should be empty, so that the food and water can move freely. Right? To make it more simplified for the people to understand, we should always remember that once we are done with the food, like your lunch, or any of meal, we should still be a little bit hungry. So we should keep that hungry to the food and eat up till the brim, because a sign of a good digestion, a good amount of food eaten, is always like we should always know about what is the good amount of food eaten. If after the food you are feeling very drowsy, if you're feeling very like your sense organs are not working properly, if you feel that you cannot breathe properly, you cannot talk properly, you want to rest, right? You cannot talk properly. So all these things, if you're facing, that means that the food what we have taken is, maybe our digestive system was not right for that, or maybe we have eaten a lot more. Right? So we have to understand that whatever we are eating is important, right? And now the concept of incompatible food items also come in this place. Now, what is incompatible food items? Like some of the food items, we enjoy mixing it together, right? At home, like, we enjoy mixing yogurt and potato, not good, like when it goes inside the digestive system, because the digestion system or the Agni or the digestive fire is not able to metabolize it properly. It becomes very heavy for the digestion. One more example is like mango shakes. Now people love mango. I myself love mango shake. But when mango, if you take, mango is like heating in nature, right? Mango has a heating property, and milk has a cooling property. So hot and cold mix together, and if you put inside, again, it is incompatible. It is not good. Raw food and cooked food. Raw food takes a long time to digest. Cooked food is already cooked, right? So it takes very less time to digest. Fish and milk. Again, fish and milk is not a good combination. Nobody has fish and milk together. But when you have fish, or when you have any of the when you know the list of incompatible food items, when you have any of one of the food, always make sure that you give a gap of at least 30 minutes to 1 hour, right? Preferably 1 hour, I must say, 1 hour, and then you have the second meal. Right? So always we should take care of the incompatible food items, right? Now, coming to the lifestyle, it is very clearly mentioned, very nicely mentioned, I must say, in one of the classical texts of Ayurveda, which is Ashtanga Hridayam. So it is said that the person should get up early in the morning. Early in the morning is not enough. Getting up before sunrise is important, right? Getting up in the Brahma Muhurat is important. Now, what is Brahma Muhurat? Brahma Muhurat starts from 30 up till before sunrise, just before sunrise. It's said that 1.5 hours before sunrise, if you get up, it is the time for consciousness. You're surrounded by consciousness, right? It is the best time to gain knowledge. Just half an hour before sunrise, that is the best time to do meditation if you're planning to, right? Then after you have woken up, you go for the motions, brushing your teeth, and then 2 glasses of warm water you have to drink, right? Because it not only cleanses the system, but it hydrates your system as well. Now, why I said only hot water and not the cold water? Because, just an example, if you take a cheese slice, right? If you put hot water on the cheese slice, what will happen? The cheese slice will start melting. But the same cheese slice, if you put cold water on the cheese slice won't melt. It won't have any effect on the cheese slice. So this same cheese slice we can consider inside our body in the form of toxins, or in Ayurveda it is also called as ama, or undigested matter, food, right?
Right.
So when we put hot water, this toxin starts melting. So it is
Right.
very important that we drink hot water, 2 to 3 glasses. After that, we have to go for yoga, pranayam, or any of the exercises. We should not make our life sedentary, right?
Okay.
So depending on our own capacity, it's not like 30 to 45 minutes is okay, depending on the capacity, but
Right.
not overdoing anything. Water also should not be important, that we know that you're very good thing, but also what it does when you turn it right, and what happens, your internal massage in that certain exercises must certain exercise. One, the coconut oil is pitta, and olive, after that some after that comes our main meal. So breakfast and dinner should be very light, because what happens, from as vata pitta kapha, the sun outside us is at its peak,
Right.
right? As it at its peak at around 12 o'clock in the noon. So in the same way, the sun inside us in the form of digestive fire is at its peak at around 12 to 1:30. So it's like if we have a good amount of food in the lunchtime from 12 to 1:30, it is very, very right. So dinner
Right.
also should be very light. And again, next, your sleep is also very important, because the most regeneration happen in the sleep time only. So we have to have like 6 to 8 hours of sleep, and we have to sleep
Right.
early because we need to get up early as well,
Right.
right? So these are some of the lifestyle habits which we can incorporate. And we should always remember, like, immunity cannot be achieved just in in one day,
Right.
right? We follow certain diet and lifestyle, and tomorrow your immunity will be very good, right? So we have to, it's a process. Over a
Yeah.
period of time, you gain this immunity, right? So
Right.
yeah, we should follow all these food items. So for a healthy, I won't take much time. Yeah.
Right.
Thank
All
you.
right. Okay. So just speaking about food, I just have this question. Is there specific food one must consume in general in their diet to stay immune and healthy?
See, the food one should consume depending on their prakriti. First of all, the
Okay.
person should be knowing what is their prakriti, what is their nature, right? As I discussed, there are 3 type of doshas, right? So every dosha, all the doshas are like, they are predominant in one of the dosha is predominant in
Right.
every human being. So we should
Right.
understand that what is my predominant dosha, and
Right.
depending on that, we should
Right. Right.
have a food and lifestyle we should follow.
All right. So from a naturopath perspective, Dr. Vishnu, what is that you would like
Yeah.
to say about food?
Yes. So the like nutrition has to do so much with the immunity. So the
Okay.
there are lots of food agents which helps to boost immunity. So the the first thing that I would mention would be the food which is rich in vitamin C.
Okay.
Like especially in this condition, we have to consume lots of food which is rich in vitamin C, because vitamin C acid, it's a fantastic antioxidant, reduces the damage, oxidation damage process in the human body.
Okay.
And the best thing is, like, our body cells, our immune cells, which fight against the infection, uses this vitamin D in order to remove the infection outside.
Okay.
And the vitamin C is a water soluble vitamin, it just get depletes. So it's very important to load this vitamin almost every single day.
Okay.
So that is one of the most important food agent that we have to include in our daily life. So the
Okay.
best source of vitamin C, I would tell, all the citrus fruits has plenty of vitamin C, but the best of best is guava. Guava is the
Okay.
highest source of contains vitamin C.
Okay.
And eating guava every day helps to improve your HDL, known as the good cholesterol as well.
Right. Right.
So it has another property like that as well.
Mm-hmm.
And we can rely a lot on green leafy vegetables. Also, there is a good food there is a good recipe called as sauerkraut. It's a fermented cabbage recipe, sauerkraut, which is the highest source of vitamin C. It just not, it gives you vitamin C as well as it gives you lots of good probiotic bacteria to protect your gut as well.
Right.
So the first food that I would tell is rich in vitamin C. Second is we have to consume plenty of omega-3 fatty acids in our diet because it is an anti-inflammatory fat. It reduces your inflammation because any cause of the inflammation, any cause of the disease is inflammation. So once you start consuming lots of omega-3 fatty acids, the body inflammation automatically reduces.
Right.
Also, the most important is vitamin D rich food, because there is a recent study published, like the countries like Norway, Iceland and all, peoples rely more on fatty fishes where they get vitamin D. In that particular area, when we compare the COVID rate, the mortality rate was very, very less, because the vitamin D is your physician. Vitamin D is a physician of your immunity. And people who have bad gut always have a tendency of less absorption of vitamin D, and they always and one of the main symptom when you have a leaky gut or bad gut is like you're always bloated, and soon after you wake up from your morning time, soon after you get up from your bed, you start with bouts of sneezing. So these all are because of vitamin D deficiency and a leaky gut. So I would add it's always better to take vitamin D supplement if in this condition, because most of the people are in lockdown, they are not able to get sufficient sunlight exposure. So taking 4,000 to 6,000 IU of vitamin D supplements every day would be fantastic. And another agent that I would like to add is something called as lauric acid, which is a fatty acid present in coconut oil. So it acts as an antiviral, antifungal, and antibacterial molecule as well. And the same lauric acid is present in breast milk. So we can rely on the intake of coconut oil. At least 1 to 2 teaspoons of coconut oil every day helps you to fight against any sort of infection. And also the next group of food agents that I would tell is food which is very rich in probiotics and prebiotics, which helps you to boost your immunity. So probiotics are nothing but group of bacteria where you get when you take lots of buttermilk, curd, you get these probiotic groups. And there is something called as prebiotics. They are nothing but the fibers. When they enter into your intestine, they become the food for the probiotics. They become the food for the good bacteria. So a combination of probiotic diet is also very crucial to maintain your gut and overall immunity. And one more last thing that I would like to add is a technique called as intermittent fasting. So I strongly recommend, even in Atmantan also, we recommend intermittent fasting technique to every guest, because it activates your something called as autophagy. It's a self-cleaning process. And this particular mechanism is being awarded Nobel Prize on 2016 for Miss Yoshinori Ozumi. So it's like you have to stop eating the food for 16 to 18 hours of time. Example, if I would tell, finish your dinner by 7 o'clock in the early night, and the next meal should be taken around 1 o'clock in the next day. So you get a span of 16 to 18 hours. During this time, your body start cleaning all this waste which is deposited inside, which is a beautiful anti-inflammatory mechanism and stimulate your immune cells and increase your immunity to a very good extent. So these all are the food agents and technique that I would add from my side in a naturopathic point of view.
Yeah, thank you. That's a very useful piece of information that you gave. So Dr. Manoj, you've not spoken for a long time, so I'm going to ask this question to you. So in your view, what does one need to do in a daily life to ensure that we stay healthy, fit and immune, whether it's pandemic or no pandemic?
Right. Just to answer that, Srikanth, if you really look at it, we need to understand the illness and wellness. Like normally the health and well-being is a continued journey. It doesn't really stop, because when you go for a treatment, if you are sick, you just get a treatment and you cure the disease and you say that no, you're disease free. Whereas when it comes to optimum wellness or health and well-being, it is a state which is actually a continuous process.
Right.
And there are a lot of things that we can do. I think most of it is actually been drilled down by Dr. Vishnu and Dr. Ravi, but I'll just briefly explain for people to remember very quickly. Okay.
Okay.
So we believe the foundational principle of any alternative system, whether it is Ayurveda, yoga, naturopathic medicine, even traditional Chinese medicine, we believe in something called as Panchabhutas, which are basically Prithvi, Aap, Tej, Vayu, Agash. For, the international friends, it's basically earth, water, fire, air, and space.
Right.
And this is how the operation, basically the treatment protocol is primarily designed around this particular thing. We need to really start respecting and appreciating these particular elements. When you talk about Prithvi, we know that the ecosystem that we live in, we need to be worshipping it. And in the olden days, if you really look at it, in our ancient Indian culture, all these has been respected and worshipped. If you really look at it, so that is your earth that you live in, just to keep it clean, your surroundings as well, so that actually helps us in improving our immunity, creating a kind of hygiene environment. And then comes Aap. Aap is actually, I think Dr. Ravi has actually clearly mentioned about the importance of Agni, which is the digestive fire, so we normally say that we burn the food, which is what the fire does. Okay, so the fire is actually very, very essential. Okay, and then comes Tej, sunlight. Vitamin D. Vitamin D is highly essential. I think Dr. Vishnu has already covered that now, so my work is much easier now, right? So the importance of sunlight, that really defines and determines where you are actually in terms of your immunity, right? So then Vayu, the air that you breathe in and out, which is why we focus a great lot on practicing pranayama sessions and things like that. It is the air that you breathe in and out every day, and that has to be pure. And in order to make it clear, and also that also adds up to your immune system, your respiratory immunity, the way you breathe, that is also important, not really having a shallow breath. Okay, so a clean air, that is another basic fundamental requisite for you to be healthy. And finally, the space, which I think Dr. Vishnu has already explained about the intermittent fasting. You need to create that, come to that. We are very, I think we are a lot more focused and obsessed about doing everything on a physical level, but you need to empty the mind as well. And we don't really just look at it, because we keep this as actually as a completely different entity, as if it's not really part of our body. But we need to be the way Atmantan is structured, Atma, Man, and Tan. And we give equal importance to all three. If there is any disturbance in one element, whether it is your physical body or your mind or your astral, or your soul, any disturbance in any of these three different stages will actually affect your health very negatively, right? So just coming back to it, so some of the steps that you need to remember, to maintain that kind of optimum wellness state or health and well-being, is the first step is being with nature, which is exactly what I said. Learn to respect all the different components, learn to respect our surrounding and the ecosystem. So that is actually one of the most important thing, being with nature. And at Atman, then we practice this a lot, because we do a lot of outdoor activities, and the main focus is because we are situated in on top of a land of prana. We have a lot of crystals. It's a crystal mountain that we are situated in. So there is a lot of positive vibrations being emanated from these crystals, which are all having a healing frequency. Because we know that it is a basic, a very common sense. In physics we have learned, and it's just science I'm talking about. We have learned that any magnetic material can be tuned in a positive way if you place it next to a magnet. A powerful magnet. Because the magnet has a uniform frequency. It vibrates. It doesn't really have all these, and that is one of the reasons you see that when you drop a magnet, what happens is the physical impact on a magnet completely disrupts the flow, energy flow. So that is one of the reasons it loses the magnetism. The same way, the human body and also our earth, the human body and the earth is a big magnet, the earth is a big magnet, and because we are living on earth, we also possess some form of magnetic element. Okay, it's actually something what we call as our personality trait. That is one of the reasons we actually just have this calm disposition. We have aggressiveness, anger, all these things happen. right? I
Right,
mean, so
right.
at a different level, you can actually just talk about like, I mean, we all possess that kind of magnetic strength.
Right.
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 And it is important for us to just be with the nature to align those vibrations in a positive way. And that is what the crystal does. Crystal actually helps us in aligning those vibrations so that we will actually just have some form of, like psychological, benefit in terms
Right.
of that.
Right.
Then comes, like your healthy routine. A journey will not be completed if you're not disciplined. You know that if you have to travel a lot, you know that you have to really have a schedule.
Right.
Okay, like at this particular time, I'm going to report here. Okay, so this is actually what Dr. Ravi has explained about the dinacharya, which is a healthy routine from starting from morning till evening.
Right.
Okay,
right.
then a nourishing diet. Okay, because as I said, like your physical body can be nourished only by way of diet. And about, Dr. Ravi has already mentioned the majority of your health benefit comes from the food that you take. Because the famous Hippocrates, the father of medicine, has actually stated that the food that you eat should be your medicine and the medicine should be your food. And he has also stated that, see, any form of medicine that you take might be treating one disease, but it might invite a group of other diseases,
Right.
which we call it as, like all those after effects of medications, right? Moderate exercise. That is another thing, like your body, if you really consider your body as a temple, you need to be worshiping your body by way of putting in the right thing and also just like, exercising it out.
Right.
Okay. And moderate exercise also has proven that it is really important for you to just improve your immunity. And this is very, very important. Like the most important factor is quality sleep, which I know that, like 90% of the population these days complain about like not having good sleep.
Right.
And this is actually one of the strong pillars that we use in Atmantan as well. We have worked on a completely different protocol around sleep sanctuary, which is basically to improve your sleep and improve, not only improve the time that you sleep, but improve your quality sleep.
Right.
You know that, everyone, that is a very deep science, but I will just brush upon it. Like, there are different stages of sleep.
Yes.
And something called as a deep sleep, which is actually much longer. So we have actually really focused on giving you that kind of treatments and education so that you will be improving on your quality sleep. And even according to the traditional Chinese medicine, if you go through, there is something called as an organ clock in your body. Your body has a very intricate mechanism when it comes to different, like interplay between the hormones, whether your cortisol, your melatonin, and people normally try to substitute your sleep with some tranquilizers and things like that. But what we try to do is we try to work on the foundational principles where you have a complete balanced state. And this is actually done through various techniques of yoga nidra, some of the Ayurvedic programs, herbal medicines, especially we use a lot of, I'm sure that Dr. Vishnu might talk about that, maybe about the herbs and spices like ashwagandha and things like that, which has a kind of calming nature. And we do these things to ensure that you sleep during your, during the time between 11 and 5, when the three vital organs in your body, like your spleen, lungs, and liver are in the recuperation mode.
Right.
And that is what happens during this period. So you cannot disturb these things. People who actually stay until late will have a lot of imbalance in these things because, your steroid, your stress levels go up, your body's steroid production increases because you have longer days and your body is tuned to, work for a definite period and your body is tuned to rest in the evening. And there is the natural mechanism is that your body automatically reduces the cortisol production, steroid production. But if you don't sleep, your body has to be active.
Yes.
And for any, the body to be active form, your body produces cortisol. Then these detox programs, there are fantastic treatment. Dr. Vishnu has already mentioned about one treatment, which is the intermittent fasting, a great way of detoxing. There are a lot of Ayurvedic procedures. There are a lot of yogic techniques like Vamana, Virachan, and all those things, or even these kind of techniques actually just helps you in having a completely detoxed body. Okay. Then stress management, which I already spoke about, like with yoga nidra and all those things. And finally, the last thing is about the mental practice. I said, just like how you take care of your body, you need to have a detox mind as well. For this, you need to be really working on having that kind of positive thoughts in your mind, having a kind of like, emotional stability in your mind,
Right.
like having a lot of social support, because
Right.
that is also needed. These days,
Right.
people have been, worried about like lockdown anxiety and all those things, because there is no one to talk to, like,
Right.
hardly they communicate through social media.
Right.
So
Right.
it is important to have this kind of physical relations, like, and social support system as well. So I think these are the major guidelines, like in terms of how to stay immune and be
Okay.
resistant. Yeah.
Fantastic. I mean, you explained a lot of stuff. I took some takeaways. You basically said be closer to the nature. That is one important thing. And then
Correct.
other thing that you said is your diet is very important, and also moderate exercises.
Excellent.
One thing that which you said resonated very well with me is what one of my mentors kept telling is that treat your body like a temple.
Right.
That's the only place that you got to live.
Correct.
That
Exactly.
sums up everything.
Yeah,
So we are running out of time. I still have a lot of questions. Let's see whether we can get very quick responses to some of the questions that I have.
Yeah.
So you spoke about some of the things that we can do, detox and intermittent fasting and various other things to build immunity. I have this question for Dr. Ravi. If you can very quickly tell us, what are the treatments that Ayurveda recommend to stay immune?
So there are a lot of treatments which Ayurveda recommends. Firstly, like, we have to understand that why we need those treatments.
Right.
Like as I told you in the previous question, that, the digestive fire plays a very important role. So if your digestive fire is really good, whatever food you eat will get converted into dhatus, will give nourishment to the body.
Right.
Right. And also it will result into ojas. Now, ojas is the essence of a good digestion. Now, to make it easy, like, what exactly is ojas? Everybody wants a good luster. Everybody wants a good skin. So this good luster is nothing but ojas. When ojas is good, what happens? You're spiritually very active, right? And you are mentally very positive. Body immune system also increases. But what happens when your digestion fire is very low? Whatever food you eat will not get converted properly into dhatus and other ojas, and will not give nourishment to the body. But instead, this will get converted into ama, as we already discussed. Right. So ama is the undigested matter, or also carbs. Right. Now there are various treatments. There are a lot of treatments to get rid of this, like the toxins which are there in the body. Like there are a lot of massages, like Abhyanga, Pedicel, Shirodhara, and all those treatments are there, which is the pre-operative procedures, where the massaging also improves the blood circulation, also massages the organs as well. Like when the organs are also getting massaged, the toxin starts moving. Right. Then we have the main treatments, which is also, as Dr. Manoj also said, about the Panchakarma treatment.
Right.
Like we have Panchakarma treatments like Vaman, Virechan, Basti, Nasya, and Rakta. Right. So Vaman is removing the toxins through vomiting by inducing vomiting. Right. Virechan is removing the toxins through purgation or inducing diarrhea.
Right.
Also, removing the toxins or the ama is the main important factor here. Right. Third one is the bastis or the enemas which we give, like oil enemas. We have decoction enemas. So all kind of degenerative issues like arthritis, pain, migraines, and all those in that conditions is very, very beneficial that we give like basti treatment. In old age people also, where the immunity is very low, for the old age people also basti is very, very important. The fourth one is nasya. Now, nasya, like we have been hearing a lot about nasya, especially in this COVID era, that, nasya is really, really important. But how does nasya benefit? Now, firstly, we have to understand that in our body, anything which is anywhere, wherever there is a dry tissue or wherever there is a dry passage, the dry thing inside a body, a dry tissue inside a body is more vulnerable to all the diseases, all the pathogens. Right? So, nasya, what it does, nasya lubricates the nasal passage. So, putting 2 drops in each nostril, right? You can use coconut oil, ghee, or any kind of fat. Anutel is used in our Atmantan center. Like, it depends on the doctor. It depends on the patient as well. What is your prakriti? What is, your vikriti as well? Not even just the prakriti. Right? And what diet and lifestyle you've been following and everything. But what we can do is, like, at home, how we can do the nasya is by just taking the oil in like fingers, right? And just applying inside the nostrils. Right. So what this does is, this prevents the bacteria and viruses from entering deep into the airways. This is how functionally the nasya will help. Structurally, it does by lubricating. It helps by lubricating, and the dry tissue is not there. But functionally, what it does is, it prevents the bacteria and from entering deep into the airways. Right. So it is very important that we follow all these panchakarma treatments, because even if I'm very healthy, still I should do at least once a year Panchakarma treatment. And this Panchakarma treatment cannot be done sitting at home, right? You have to come to the center, because there is a preparatory procedure. There's a main procedure which requires around 7 days to around 14 days, 28 days, 30 days. It depends on your diet and lifestyle protocols and everything. Right.
Okay.
So these are certain treatments. Plus, there are a lot of immunomodulators also, which really help in improving the immunity. Right. Like as Dr. Manoj said, like about ashwagandha. There are certain medicines like shalaki, which is also called as boswellia. Right. I'm sure Dr. Vishnu will be discussing about it. So boswellia is it's like the recent study shows that it is the main medicine. It is very effective in reducing the inflammatory markers. Right. So shalaki, ashwagandha, guduchi, amlaki, and there are a lot of other medications. Right. So which we can include. So in the morning, what we can do, like, in the kitchen also, there are a lot of herbs available. So in the morning, like just having a ginger lemon tea, just an example, just having a ginger lemon tea is very, very good. Why? Because ginger liquefies the toxins, and lemon expels the toxins. Boost up your digestive system as well. Right. So having ginger lemon tea in the morning is really good. The best combination what you can have in the kitchen, which you can combine and have it for balancing your vata, pitta, and kapha, all three doshas, is like cumin, fennel, fenugreek, coriander, and turmeric. So all these 5 ingredients you can mix together, right, in equal proportions. Mix in 1 liter of water, boil it for 10 to 15 minutes till the water reduces by 1/4, not 2 1/4. Okay, till 1/4, by 1/4. And then you can filter it and keep it in a flask, and then keep on sipping like a herbal tea. That really helps in balancing that. And the last one is like, if anybody is having frequent cold and cough due to season change, they can use like ginger, cinnamon, black pepper, and turmeric. That really helps, like making it a powder form, and having 1 spoon in the morning, 1 spoon in the evening with honey really helps in improving the immunity. There are a lot of treatments, but these are the main treatments which Ayurveda suggests. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you, Dr. Ravi. As I said, we are running out of time. I still have 2 questions that I want answers for. One is Manoj mentioned about some herbs that can be, used to build immunity. I want to ask this question to Vishnu. Are there any specific herbs and spices, as Manoj mentioned, that can help build immunity and help someone to stay healthy?
Yeah, so Dr. Ravi has already mentioned few of them, but the best one that I would recommend from my side will be turmeric. Because it helps to improve your blood circulation. It's a good anti-inflammatory molecule. It balances your mood swings. Why does turmeric do all these things? Because it has a content called as curcumin in that. Okay, this curcumin is really a strong antioxidant, and it boosts your immune system fantastically. So I'll give a small tip that can be used for this allergy sinusitis patient. Like take half teaspoon of turmeric and mix it in 1 teaspoon of honey. Put 5 drops of coconut oil and a pinch of like cinnamon into that. So this particular combination really makes the turmerics to act better, and this combination alone has reduced the sinusitis or the allergic rhinosinusitis of many people. So turmeric would be the best herb that I would be preferring. Second thing is something called as licorice. There is a herb called as licorice. So in Ayurveda, in Hindi they call mullet tea or something like that. The root of this licorice is being used. So the decoction of this licorice can be used as an anti-H. pylori agent. It reduces any sort of bloating or gastritis things. It really licorice really works on that particular aspect. And also in 2003, there was a research conducted, and it is proven that this extract of this licorice called as DGL really works as an antiviral molecule, and it reduces the load of coronavirus as well. So taking licorice decoction in these days would be fantastic for all the general population. Third thing that I would recommend is the intake of garlic. So I had seen better results for asthma. People who suffer from asthma, everyday intake of garlic really helps them better, because makes them better because it contains lots of sulfur. It contains a molecule called as allicin, which is really a blood thinner as well. It reduces your bad cholesterol in the body. So the again, one more tip that I would like to add is like the way how you have to take this like garlic is like chop the garlic into 2 pieces and put it into honey. Just keep it closed for 2 days, so it automatically gets fermented. This fermented garlic has strong action like an antifungal molecule. So it cleans
Okay.
the fungal infection from the body. It is used to clear the dandruff, and it
Right.
also helps to get rid of asthma.
Right.
And also cinnamon, it's another beautiful herb that can improve your immunity, stabilizes your blood sugar level. Holy basil, in like we call it as tulsi, can be
Mm-hmm.
used. So these
Right.
are the like important thing that we can use nowadays. Like there
Right.
are plenty of herbs that we can use, but the best among the all the herbs will be these major things that we can include in our daily dietary protocols now.
Fantastic. Thank you. Before last question is from Manoj. Before I ask the question, let me bring up a slide. I had a technical glitch and I was not able to bring up the slide. I'll just bring it up now and then ask this question to Manoj. Manoj. All right. So tell me, what is special about Atmantan? Why should people come and stay there for a wellness program?
All right. So I'll try to be as quick as possible, Srikanth. See, Atmantan, one of the things that actually just make us completely different is the integrated approach that we believe in. We have a very, very strong foundation from the traditional knowledge that we acquire from Indian tradition. Okay, because we cannot just really undermine the efficacy of whether it is Indian naturopathy, yoga, Ayurvedic medicine, all those things. We cannot just really undermine the efficacy. And we also build this thing like along with the evidence-based modern protocols, like the most modern scientific advancement. And this is actually one of the reasons I'm sure that you must have, or the audience must have been hearing slightly different views from all of us. The reason being, this is exactly what we believe in. We believe in and one of the reasons we recently started with something called as a super immunity program, because we go with changing trend in the sense needs, basically what demand come from the society, because right now there is a whole lot of demand to improve people's immunity. And hence we have actually clearly built together a program, and we will be doing all these things that we discussed about, dietary principles, herbal medicines, and all other different pillars as well. Okay, and I think I have briefly mentioned about what Atmantan stands for, which is Atma, Man, and Tan. So your body, mind, and soul. And we approach all these different entities equally important, and we actually just try to build protocols around improving functionality and in all these three different levels. Okay, and the treatment protocols that we believe in, because most of the places you might see that people go to a wellness center or spas just to get pampered. And we believe we actually just go one step or a few steps much deeper. We provide utmost luxury, and also we ensure that the information that we give to the people, which is one of the reasons we call, we have a tagline which is called as Be Transformed. And the transformation is actually just not only, it's actually just way within, because we believe that everyone is a healthy person. It is just that you don't have the tools, or you haven't really sensitized and realized about your inner potential. So we are helping individual to understand that. We are helping or educating people to just understand how well they could actually just present themselves in terms of the health. Okay, so which is why all the treatment protocols that we are doing will have some form of therapeutic inclination, because we do not give treatment just for you to relax. Okay, so we the doctors team, we have a team of about 11 doctors, including the physiotherapists. So we follow the protocols of Ayurveda, naturopathic medicine, yoga, traditional Chinese medicine, physiotherapy. Hence we do a lot of rehab programs as well. We also believe in functional medicine. Dr. Vishnu is a functional medicine expert. We also believe in very deep cuisine, which are basically therapeutic meals. Every meal are prescribed by the doctors, based on your needs, and these are customized as well. We do a lot more deeper personalization of your different treatment. And another thing is all the herbs that we were talking about. We prepare herbs which are much more purest form, natural form. There are about 65 to 70 herbs that we grow in our own garden. And we believe in using them in the fresh form than all the pre-packed medicines, because there's a lot of mindset among people, to which brand to go for. You know,
Right.
if you talk about like any particular brand, you will see like, you know, at least 50 different companies making it. So people don't know like, you know, what to trust, you know, like
Right.
maybe like, you know, few of them are like, you know, good, but they don't
Right.
know. They are actually very confused, which
Right.
is one of the reasons we don't want to just like, you know, I mean, confuse people. We rather try to convince them by giving like all the fresh herbs.
Right.
And the beautiful concept that we have, Srikanth, which we all are proud about, is about the reversal programs that we do at Atmantan. We
Right.
treat about 25 to 30 different lifestyle and autoimmune conditions, which we can actually just give 100% guarantee for people. Like, you know,
Fantastic.
why people come to us? If anybody has a fear of like, you know, I mean, or if anybody has a burning need to treat these conditions, if anyone is actually in pain, not only physical pain, even
Right.
about mental pain and emotional pains, you know, like they should come to us, because we promise them a fantastic results, whether it is PCOD conditions, whether it is hypothyroid, whether it is SLE, whether it is, you know, like rheumatoid arthritis, ankylosing spondylitis, you know, like all these different conditions, Crohn's disease, IBS,
Right.
these are the kind of conditions we treat. And we are really proud of giving a result-oriented wellness experience to people who come to us.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Thank you very much for your time on a Saturday evening. I'm sure you are running busy lives in your wellness centers. Thank you, Manoj,
Thank you very
for
much.
getting your team together. Thank you, Vishnu, and thank you, Ravinder. Thank you so much.
This was only charged us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.